Hello friend, as it is pretty evident from the title of the video, I'm going to explain the transistor from the basic. It has been a long time since it was invented, but still many people has doubt regarding this, like how exactly transistor amplify things, whether it is current control or voltage control device. In this video I'm going to explain the very basic of transistor and try to give you more physical explanation rather than reading all the same text which is available on other platform, because most of the people do not want to understand by the mathematical equation, and I feel why most people are confused because their basics are not clear much. Some people are even confused for the fact that whether current causes voltage or voltage causes current. It seems like a chicken egg problem to some people. Which came first? I will explain all these doubts. So without wasting more time, let's come to the explanation and bust the myth being BJT is a current control device. I will go with a very basic, so stick to the video till end so that you can understand it. So as you know, every possible thing is made of basic unit, that is atom, and simplified model of atom is that it has a nucleus at the center and the electron revolving around. Different material has a different arrangement of these atoms, and on the basis of these arrangement materials are categorized, like insulator, in which electrons are tightly bounded to the nucleus and can't move from one atom to another atom. But conductor such as this copper wire has many electrons which are movable, and these movable electrons are real cause of current. If we come to the definition of the current, it is a number of electron passed by a certain point per second is called current. If we take one atom wide wire, like atoms are distributed here, so electron from this atom jump to the another atom, and same way the electron get knocked off from this atom and move to the next atom. So this is how electrons move. But the real question is, how does this electron moves? For that we need some kind of force which make them move, and that is done by applying voltage. Here you see a bulb connected with a voltage source which cause potential difference between the two terminal of bulb. It is not visible here, but in the next slide I will show you. It is the same effect like when we carry any object to certain height, and an object gains potential energy, and when it is dropped from that height, potential energy get converted into kinetic energy. Here you can see the battery connected here apply some force to the circuit, and that causes the potential difference between the two terminal of this bulb. So these electrons get potential energy, and then it is converted into the kinetic energy, and this is how these electrons moves. One more thing I would like to point out here, that is battery never apply any kind of electron or any kind of charge carrier. It only creates potential difference. And voltage can exist without current, but current can't exist without voltage. So we need voltage to have current. You can consider battery as some kind of device that attaches energy packet to the electrons. So as these electrons move further, these energy packets are transferred to this bulb, and that bulb get light up, and these energy packets are converted into the light energy. Once these energy packets finished or get over, the battery get fully discharged or drained, and this battery will not be able to create any potential difference. So to have its functionality back, we have to charge it again. Let's go back to the definition of the current again. So number of electron passing through a certain point per second is called current. So now how can we vary current? So if we take this is a certain point, number of electron passing by somehow get increased, then we can increase the current. Or if we increase the speed of the electron, then again current will also get increased. So broadly if we take, we can say current is directly proportional to potential or voltage, or current is directly proportional to the electron consumption. There are other factors also that are playing role in current, but we will not take them into consideration because that will make it complex. Now let's take one example here. There are two identical circuits. Both battery has a voltage V, and in this circuit current I1 is flowing, in this circuit current I2 is flowing, and 10 electrons are present in this and 10 electrons are present in this. So as V volt is applied, current start to flow through the circuit is 10 units. We are just assuming this. By the unit of current is ampere, but for the sake of understanding I'm just taking it as a unit. So in this both circuit current will be same, and when we double the voltage, current also get double. It becomes 20 unit, in I2 also become 20 unit. But if we knock out some electron from this circuit, so remaining voltage, let's say 5 electron, and here in this there is still 10 electron, and voltage applied is V. So corresponding to the voltage V, current will be 10 unit in first circuit, and in second is 5 unit, and the relation between these two current will be I1 will be double of I2, and when voltage is doubled, current will be 20 unit, and second circuit the current will be 10 unit. The ratio of these currents is still same. The current, if we increase the voltage by very small. The current increment will be larger in this circuit, and increment current in this circuit will be smaller. The reason being is because it has 5 electron and it has 10 electron. We can easily vary voltage, but how can we vary or change charge concentration dynamically or in real time? And here comes this role of semiconductor devices. As name depicts, its conductivity is between insulator and conductor. In semiconductor, carrier concentration is varied by doping. One of semiconductor device, that is a diode, is very handy in every circuit. It is used in other semiconductor device as a basic unit. And even transistor is also combination of two diode back to back, one in forward bias and other one in reverse bias. So it is very important to know the operation of diode. Diode is made of two semiconductor materials, p-n type, joined together, which allow flow of current in one direction. At a junction, there is a depletion region which acts as a wall and controls the flow of electron through it. This wall gets thicker and thinner based on the applied voltage. The thin wall is easily breakable and hence allow current to flow, and thicker wall don't allow current to flow through. So here you see, when voltage is applied, it is forward bias, then this wall gets thinner and hence current will start to flow through it. And as we increase more forward voltage, this wall get more thinner and current will increase more. As here you can see in this animation, when forward biased, the current is flowing through it, and when it is open, there is depletion region, and when it is reverse bias, this wall get thicker and no current will flow through the circuit. In the simple resistor circuit also, when we increase voltage, current also increases. Relation between current and voltage is linear in case of resistor circuit, but in case of semiconductor device, it is exponential. Current increases abruptly due to sudden vanishing of depletion region. As I took example of simple bulb circuit, now I'll take another case of diode. Here you see an animated video of forward bias diode. Here depletion region is totally vanished and electrons are flowing through the circuit freely. Let's assume total electrons that are flowing are 100 electron. In this branch and in this branch, the electrons are same 100 electron, and corresponding to that, let's assume the current is 100 unit that is flowing through the circuit. When we increase this voltage, the current will increase exponentially in all branch and by equal amount, because electron flowing are same. But somehow if we take out 95 of electron from here, from this branch, and instead of giving all electron by this branch, I take one another branch which give 95 back to this terminal, then what will be the scene here? Here in this branch, there only 5 electron are left and 100 are flowing through this wire. So now there will be current of 5 unit in this branch and 100 unit of current in this branch. As we increase the voltage, only small amount of increment will be in this branch. Let's call it is I1 and it is I2. So now as we increase the voltage, only small amount of increment will be in this I1 current, and very big increment will be in this wire, and the relationship between these current will be I2 will be 20 times of I1, because 100 unit of current is flowing and in this only 5 unit of current is flowing through. It's because we have taken out 95 electron out of this terminal. Here 20 is the amplification factor beta, and this relationship gives us sense of amplification. Now method of taking out this electron is a transistor which has another p-n junction in a reverse bias. As you can see here, we have used another p-n junction in reverse bias, sucking 95 electrons. This beta factor depends on how much electron are sucked by collector terminal. Here you see this is a emitter, and this is a base terminal, and this is a collector terminal. This beta factor depends on how much electrons are sucked by the collector terminal, and this depends on width of base region. If we want to use for small signal, then width is kept small and current in this base branch will be less. But in case of power amplifier, where large signals and large current are used, base width is large. When I simulated transistor with or without collector voltage, here are some result of that. In case of without collector voltage, when we apply forward bias to the base and emitter terminal, it acts as a simple p-n diode, and current in the same in the emitter branch and the base branch, and the current increases exponentially as voltage is increased to the 5. Here you see 5 volt is applied here, so the current also get increased. But as soon as we apply collector voltage, second diode becomes reverse bias and attraction of electrons starts toward a collector region, and only a few
percentage of electron manage to flow to the base terminal. Here you can see collector current becomes beta multiple of the base current. Here in this transistor beta is 100. One important thing I would like to point here, as we increases voltage at base terminal, voltage across base and emitter terminal also increases. As I increase this 3 volt to 5 volt, this base emitter voltage is also increased, but by a very small amount. Why it is so? Because we have always learned it to be threshold as a 0.7 voltage, so it should be constant. But here in this case, these are increasing. The reason is because there is no such concept of threshold. Threshold depend on type of application. If it is used for large current, then voltage across taken more than 0.7 volt, and if it is taken for small signal, then voltage taken less than 0.7 volt. 0.7 volt taken just to make calculations easy. Otherwise, in practical semiconductor devices, load line is used to design circuit. In the next video, I will explain what is load line and why do we need it, and also I will design one circuit. Current in transistor mainly depend on emitter base PN diode. So more is the base emitter voltage, more electron will generate and more electron will swipe to the collector region. Here you see when voltage across base emitter terminal is 766, the current in this emitter branch is 7.44, and when this voltage increased and the base emitter terminal voltage is 783.08, the current also get increased in this emitter branch. Here is the equation. In this equation you can see IC depend only on VBE. There is no dependency on the base current, and whenever we talk about transistor, we always take transconductance parameter into consideration. It is because output current depend on input voltage. Beta is just a constant which relates base and emitter current, and current is only effect of voltage applied. So whole current control is done by the base emitter voltage. Here there is a animated video of transistor. Here it is emitter region, here is base region, and here is a collector region. VC is applied and here VB is applied. When VB is 0, there is no current will flow through it. In the beginning, we have turned this VCE off, and as we increases VBE, current will start to flow through it. As we increases VBE, the depletion width of base emitter will start to decrease and current will start to flow through it between base and emitter. Here you see when VB crosses 0.6 volt, electrons start to flow through this wire, and as soon as when we turn this on, all electrons get sucked to the collector region, and that will cause collector current to flow.